Dating is a confusing whirlwind of emotions, fear, self doubt, and we deal with it on a daily basis. But I think of the most scary parts of dating is making the first move. And I want to talk about why you should just make the first move in this video. It doesn't matter your gender or how you self identify. I am a proponent of everybody making the first move. One of the biggest reasons is that it makes dating less scary. And it clears up a lot of confusion for other people and for yourself, honestly. So let's talk a little bit about that. For most people, this is the main thing holding them back, right? Asking that person out. What if they don't like me? What if they think I'm unattractive or ugly or undesirable in some way? And the reality is that when you ask someone out, it's a net positive, even if you're rejected. So let's talk about why you should ask someone out. And the first of which is, I think, something nobody ever thinks about. You'll stand out from a crowd of people who feel exactly like you do. Now think about it. Everybody on earth, I don't care who they are, has at some point in their life feared rejection. Maybe it wasn't from romantic dating. Maybe it was from getting into a college or something like that, or getting onto a sports team, or getting into some other meaningful thing that they wanted to get into. But for the majority of people I speak to, the largest fear of rejection comes from romantic dating. And one of the things that helps us appear more attractive to the other person, let's face it, is standing out from the crowd, not appearing to be one of the sheep just like everybody else. Uniqueness is what sets us apart from other people. And so being someone who asks other people out is attractive because most people don't. Most people turn to Tinder and Bumble, and you guys know how I feel about those things. It's fine for supplementation purposes, right? If you're going home and after a day of going and doing some hobbies, meeting new people, maybe at the gym or maybe at like a Dungeons and Dragons or a bar trivia, yeah, you can do a little bit of scrolling. That's fine. But actually going up to someone and saying, hey, I really think you're interesting. I'd like to spend some time with you, if that sounds cool. Maybe see if this can go anywhere. And just being honest, because so many people don't do that. So ironically, being able to set yourself out and stand out in a crowd makes you more attractive and makes you more noticeable. Number two is the anxiety of wondering stops. If you ask someone out, you are likely going to get an answer or no answer. And no answer means no, right? The absence of yes is no. And it's funny because the longer we stay and sit on it and wait and wonder, the more our anxiety grows. And the more our anxiety grows, the less we want to do the thing because we just want to get rid of the feeling. So we talk ourselves into not doing anything, and then ultimately we lose because we haven't made any action at all. By the way, I really like this hat. This hat's going to be like a thing. And if you like my hat too, do me a favor, subscribe and hit like and all that. Thanks. The more anxiety you have, the harder it's going to be. Not even just to ask someone out, but to date them. Anxiety makes most things pretty hard. So one of my pieces of advice when I'm coaching someone who's younger, maybe from 18 to 24, 25, is if you see someone that you have a little bit of a rapport with and you know you have romantic interest in them, ask them out. Because the longer you think about asking them out, the lower the chances that you're going to ask them out. I can think of one time where years and years ago, I was very attracted to the woman who worked there, and I had seen her a few times. I bought a few dog cookies, I made a few jokes, and that really worked, I guess. But I worked myself up in my head to become so nervous that when I finally did ask her out, I was this muttering idiot, and she was like, I have a boyfriend, thanks. And, I was proud of myself for asking her out, but not proud of how I did it. So obviously, one of the things that you can also benefit from by asking people out is that you get a little better at it every time because you're beginning to conquer the fear that's controlling you. Number three is the worst thing that will happen is nothing. They say no and your day goes on. You feel bad about it for a day or two. But like I said, the anxiety that you were carrying with you dissipates because what causes the anxiety is not the fear of rejection. It's the fear of not knowing. We are afraid of things that can hurt us. But the reality is someone telling you no will sting for a day, 2 days maybe, and then you move past it. You get past it. Number four is that it shows courage and confidence, both of which are very attractive. See, everybody wants to focus on looks, like looks are all that matter. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they don't. I'm going to tell you that they don't matter as much as people think they do. And ironically, as you show these other desirable traits, confidence, courage, humor, empathy, how the other person looks at you begins to change and grow. And as how they look at you and your personality change and grow, you literally appear more attractive to them. And we have a lot of studies that show that. I'll include one in the link below. Number 5 is you'll save time because the answer already exists. That's the reality. Most people know if they would go on a date with you. Let's be clear. We're talking about dating here. And I'm not talking about an ex who you've been with before, right? You know that they have been interested in you, so they could be interested in you. It's happened. This is for dating new people. So that context should go for this entire video. The answer already exists. You're just uncovering it. Most people know within 2 to 10 seconds of meeting you and talking to you if they would be interested in you enough to go on a date and learn more about you, right? So this doesn't mean they'll go on one date with you and then immediately become your girlfriend or boyfriend or anything like that. This means that they are interested enough in you to learn about you, to see what's this person about? Could I want to romantically date them? And obviously, we are talking about dating, but this isn't so much about hookup culture. This is more about dating, like romantic dating, girlfriend, boyfriend, leading to husband and wife family. Number 6 is you have more control. And control makes us feel more confident, ironically. I control my ability to do what happens next. And I feel the worst when I'm put in situations I don't control, because then there's nothing I can do and it's inevitable. And what's going to happen is going to happen. Maybe that person does like you. Maybe they're at least curious to see if they could like you. And you're taking command of the situation, control of the situation by going up to them, that person you have a crush on, that person that you want to get to know. And you're saying, hey, I really think you're cool. I'd like to spend some time with you. What do you think? Because maybe they really like you, but you would never know if you didn't ask, because the likelihood is they're probably not going to like you, because we're all here watching this fucking video. So clearly it's a problem. It's BuzzFeed covered it. So clearly there's an issue here, right? The fucking BuzzFeed covered it. Number 7 is it massively boosts your self-confidence. This is similar to number 4, but I want to really stress the confidence specifically, because once you're no longer afraid of rejection, you are free, because that is what we're all afraid of. That's the big demotivator for these types of situations. So the people who have learned to harness and control their fear of rejection and become sort of numb to rejection, they don't care, it doesn't faze them anymore, they're the ones that ultimately control these situations, because losing that fear of rejection means you can replace it with that confidence. And confidence, as we all know, is attractive. If I see someone with their shoulders slumped over and they can barely talk a full sentence and they're very quiet and meek and withdrawn, I'm probably not going to be as attracted to them. And that's not saying that they don't have an attractive personality or are fun or could be attractive to me, but it's saying I'm less able to notice it because they're hiding who they truly are. So conquering fear of rejection increases the person's ability to be attractive. Number 8 is something I don't think many people think about, and I haven't heard it covered in any videos, which is it increases your attraction and confidence outside of romance. If you're no longer afraid of rejection in dating, and I personally think that that's probably the scariest rejection I can think of, and let me know if you guys feel differently, but it makes you more able to face scarier things outside of dating, like asking your boss for a raise, or maybe finally making the move on a big project, or maybe quitting your job and starting a different career path or going back to school. It increases your ability and your belief in yourself, because, like I said, once you're no longer afraid of rejection, you're free. Number 9 is one of the things that it can do is spark potential romantic attraction. I mentioned earlier that the answer sort of already exists. If someone wasn't attracted to you, asking them out, it's not gonna turn a no into a yes. So what we're talking about here is that if they're on the fence, if they're not sure, and sometimes seeing that ambition of going for what you want in a respectful way can create some like, hell yeah, wow, like I'm seeing them differently because they're making an attempt, because they're not afraid of facing the possibility of me telling them no. Yeah, let me give them a try. And you'll be shocked. That's how I got with my fiance right now. Number 10 is going after what you desire. I guess number 10 and number 9 are sort of the same thing. Kind of tied them together, where ambition is in and of itself attractive so long as it's done in a respectful way. So grain of salt there. But number 11, which I think to be the most important one, everyone feels the same fear of rejection that you are feeling. When you are no longer afraid of rejection, you are free. Then you don't have to worry about, am I not attractive? Well, no, you've put that voice to rest. That fear doesn't exist in you anymore. Or maybe it's a quiet voice at the back of your head, but you're not letting it dictate your actions and control you anymore, right? And I get that people have doubts about themselves, fears about themselves. They feel like they're inadequate. They feel like they're ugly. I had a comment in one of my videos, I'm a 5 out of 10. And no, the fuck you're not. You just think you are, right? And that's one of the reasons people go to therapy, is because of disordered thinking. That's one of the reasons people go to coaching, is because disordered thinking leads to disordered actions. If I truly, genuinely believe that I'm no good, but everybody around me is like, well, you're fine. If I truly believe that I'm overweight and everybody's like, no, you're not. And our response to that is, well, they're just being nice. Well, they're just lying. Well, you've decided to lose. And I think that ultimately can be corrected, but it does require positivity and positive thinking, which I know can garner some eye rolls. But trust me, thinking positively brings positivity. Might take a while. It's a muscle you have to work out, and it's going to take some time before that muscle's strong, but it does happen. Give it a try. You never know, and the worst thing that's going to happen is they're told no. Peace. I did way fucking better in this video. Subscribe, hit like. I do coaching, thelovechat.net/coaching if you want to work with me. And if you need therapy, BetterHelp.com/Rory. See, I boasted about not making mistakes, then I made a bunch of mistakes. Mother